Get peace of mind with the RV Advisor's extended warranty for as low as $14 per month. Visit thervadvisor.com today.
Little birdie told me I'd need RV advice.
Get information straight from the horse's mouth.
Little birdie told me I'd need RV advice.
It's Just Ask Gigi with Gigi Stetler and Tom Alexander. Now here's Gigi and Tom.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to Just Ask Gigi. My name is Tom Alexander, and as always, of course, I am joined. There she is, the one, the only Gigi Stetler, the unstoppable Gigi Stetler, which will tell you more about that.
Yeah, the RVer's new BFF, the unstoppable.
Yes, right. That's exactly right. How are you, Gigi?
I am grand, as always. How are you?
Yeah, doing fine. Doing well, thank you. And we've got... we get to go out in the field again this time. This is cool. It's like becoming the new thing. Well,
it's the old thing, because remember, that's all we did was be in the field, and I'm tired of being stuck at this desk. So we are going to be in the field, I think, from now on. There's always something going on here at HQ, so we will. I will be in the field just about every week.
So what do you got cooking today? What's happening?
Wow.
Good news, bad news, scary news.
Interesting. So you remember when we did the Camping World Challenge?
Yep. And
back in, I don't know, a year ago or so. And well, today we are at the Campers Inn Challenge. So I have a member who purchased and it's interesting because touching on the last week's question about should I buy a leftover. So this buyer, he purchased a new 2019 camper from Campers Inn in North Carolina. And anyway, so he purchased it, and it's not his first camper. He's had campers for many campers, and I believe he even traded one in. So in his first maybe 3 to 4 weeks of ownership, so take a look at this. These are work orders or repairs, all like in his first few weeks of ownership. So
man.
Anyway, he's had nothing but frustration, and he, every time he took it out, it brought it back to the dealership for another list of repairs.
Right.
And just to kind of fast forward, well, and the coach had been left there for a while. So fast forward, he gets me involved, and I have conversation. I'm trying to be the mediator to, as I reviewed the work orders, I knew right away, first off, that this coach was built in February of 2019. He purchased it in March of 2020. So with the pictures, I'm looking at it, they never, ever did any maintenance. The dealer never did any maintenance on the coach, as it sat there rotting in their field for 13 months and then sold it to this customer. So anyway, I'm having a conversation with the general manager or general service manager, whatever he is. And we're trying to, reach some resolution, and their resolution was, it's the factory's fault, and we're just going to send it back to the factory. So I did speak with Keystone, and they basically agreed to take it back to the factory, but they just said for an assessment. Well, it didn't really tell the customer if they're going to fix it. Are they just going to look at it? What are they going to do with it? What if they find out that it's actually the dealer's responsibility, that they didn't seal it and they ruined the camper because it's leaking? And then the customer's going to be stuck with the bill. Like, what's going on here? So anyway, I got to the bottom. The factory said that they would take it back, and yes, they would fix it or assess it, but they couldn't give him any time or scope of when that would be. So I'm trying to work something out with the dealer. So now I'm on the phone with Campers Inn, and you got to love the story. So I'm talking to the guy, the head guy there, and I said, he's got tons of problems. So he first thing he says to me is, he goes, well, every time he took it out, he just wants a new camper. I think that's always buyer's remorse. Most customers have buyer's remorse, and they pick the wrong model or this and that. this guy loves his camper. That's the floor plan he wants. So I said, well, do you have something to trade him out of? Let's see if we can put him into a new unit. You know, he's been now 7 months without a camper. And so the guy looks it up on his computer and he says, well, let's try this model. And he gives me a stock number or whatever. And he says, this is, you know, the closest thing that we have to what he has. Mm-hmm. And I had asked him if he had seen the work orders and if he had been in the unit and this and that. And did you, you know, it says where the water's coming from. And he acted like he knew everything about this unit, everything. He's been in it, he's assessed it, whatever.
Yeah.
So anyway, I look at the model and then I look at the paperwork and I'm saying, well, the stock number you just gave me, that's a fifth wheel. He has a bumper pull. Oh, you're right. So how does he know everything about the camper and he doesn't even know what he has? Yeah. Okay. So then he says, I said,
a bit of a red flag there.
One of many. So then he says to me, I said, he goes, well, every time he took the camper out and he came back, he just kept asking for a new camper. And I said, well, you know, if you had a problem with a camper and it's flooding and it's leaking and it's water and rain and this, every time you went out, wouldn't you start to ask for a new camper or replacement? And he says, well, you know, these things are just made, you know, they go down the road and they all, you know, things come loose and fittings come loose and you just have to be able to, you know, they have to be, you have to take care of them. Mm-hmm. And I said, so wouldn't you ask for a new camper if all these things happen? He goes, well, I bring a toolbox with me every time I go camping. I said, okay. Oh, so do you tell your customers, your buyers, before they pick up their unit, oh, you better buy a toolbox before you go camping because you're going to need one? Is that how you train your salespeople? Because if you're telling me that that's what you do, then you should tell your salespeople that the campers fall apart, so you better bring a toolbox. I bet you won't sell very many campers if you do that. I was like absolutely shocked that this guy would do that. Wow. So anyway, I decided that I'm going to pick it up. So I had my stuff, pick it up, campers in, bring it here to our dealership, and I'm going to assess it. And I want to see behind the scenes. And it's pulling in as we speak. So
there you go. All right. Well then.
Exactly.
Let's do it.
Yep. We will reconvene after I take a peek.
All right. Let's do it.
That we were talking about earlier, and I just thought, you know, after looking at all those work orders and everything, and nobody could really, other than, you know, seeing all these voids in the ceiling on the roof and things like that, things just weren't adding up as I was looking at it, because normally when you see voids in the ceiling on the roof and you're thinking the roof is leaking, you would see stains on the ceiling in the corners and stuff like that, and I don't see that evidence as of yet. So, but then if you come over here, and I'm not sure you'll be able to see this, but so the floor is really soft, and it's kind of right in this area, which I was thinking that's where it's leaking from the slide, and that was basically an issue from the first day he purchased it. So I have, I've cut. So the first thing to do is you want to see what's under the floor. So I've cut this up. So we've exposed the wood. Normally when I do this and I pull up a piece of vinyl, this is usually wet or rotten, and that's what, you know, the water gets stuck under the floor. So miraculously there's no stain, but you know, this is this is a styrofoam floor. A styrofoam floor, when you're buying a lightweight trailer, is an issue, because all you have is a block of styrofoam with aluminum studs, which are sometimes 8 inches, sometimes 12 on center, sometimes 4, sometimes 6, and then you've got these 4x8 sheets of 1/8 inch door skin on top of it. So if you look here, you can probably see, Amy, can you get this? Look. So these are your seams where this is your joint in the wood. So one of two things could have happened. One, they just didn't put any stud under there. So it's a manufacturer's defect, because there's where you have a seam, they have to have a piece of aluminum or something other than a block of styrofoam, because you need some support. Or number two, this thing was definitely had water in it. Customer had water. He had tons and tons of water. So what I am thinking, and I have Stefan out there dropping the belly pan, because what I think is the water maybe came down the walls, went into the belly pan filled up, and it's possible that the beams underneath, or that should be attached to that, maybe that pulled away or rotted away or is broken. So we're going to go outside and we're going to see what it looks like underneath. Either of them. One way or the other. Okay. The wall is wet. Okay, so this water's running down the wall. Look, here it is. Coming out the floor. Okay, before we drown. Okay, let's quickly go have a look outside now. Yep. Oh, it's soaked. It's soaked. Okay. Oh my God. So look at that. So the cable's going right in. Water's running out the slide roof. And going in those holes, there's supposed to be a thing here to stop, a stopper. Let's go look at another Keystone product and see if it's got, or another cable system slide, because there's something missing there. Same cable. Oh, well, look at that. Oh, would you look at that? Look at these things. Look. That's how you stop the water from going in. There's no stoppers on that slide. So, the interesting, okay, so these black streaks, which is not normal, that's where your roof comes together, and there are joints in the wood when you're joining the wood, and they should put tape. There should be tape to attach the two pieces of wood together, so you don't have this type of bulging. I mean, if you look, maybe if you want to pan a whole bunch of other roofs, you won't see any black, other units with black streaks around them. Very odd. So, a couple of things also. So the AC is running, and you see how it's going in
The joint.
the joint. Yeah, it's going in the joint. So customer's complaint is that it's leaking when the slide out's open and it's raining. He's sitting there at the dinette and water's coming out of the lights and dripping. See that? I see a hole there, I see a hole there, right? Oh, you need, yeah.
All this brown mark, that's a little.
That's all new. That's all new. They just did that. That's why I was saying that's a year too late, because it was never done. They just did it just before we picked it up. Oh, look at this. There's no sealant on the marker line. Look at that. That's completely open. Can you see that?
Entonces,
You see that gap right there?
ponlo de abajo.
That's completely open.
No, pégale más para allá. Es para echar el agua al slide. Déjale tu arco ahora ahí. ¿La abriste? Sí. Y déjamelo ahí.
So you're gonna put the hose on the slide itself. Maybe we'll go inside and see if we see water. But I do. Well, oh, look at the rubber under the air conditioner. What's up with that? A couple of things going on here with number one, no stoppers, so that's allowing the water to come straight in. But what's happening is, depending if this camper's level or not, this particular slide must be level. If it's not level, it's going to be tipped like this or like that, and the water's just going to come right in the slide inside. Slide toppers is a best friend for a camper like this. It should have slide toppers to prevent that from happening, because sometimes you may not be 100% perfectly level. But, so now, we opened up the underbelly, so the water is getting trapped under, in between the nylon and the corrugated plastic, whatever they got under there. It's trapped. So it's just sitting there soaking up the water. So the reason that this issue, which I didn't want to tear from the inside, but the reason you have this separation here is the beam, which you'll be able to see on the video. The beam that actually supports that is all rotten, and it's about this far away from the actual floor of that to support it, to keep it up. So that's what's going on there. The wall that's coming down the walls is coming in from those holes. And then this thing on this carpet was actually a plumbing leak. So all this water, some of it came inside, which we saw, but the amount of water that we had, most of it's going in the underbelly, and it's just saturating, soaking up water. So this is a styrofoam floor. Think about it when you guys are looking for lightweight trailers that are built with styrofoam floors. They're very, very, very difficult to fix. We've done a ton of them, and they're not easy to fix. So what happens is, if you do have a water leak, a plumbing leak, or whatever, and there's no structure. So they're literally built with like crisscross beams and then a block of styrofoam. So if the styrofoam goes bad, you have no support. And you can't just put in a new piece of styrofoam or a piece of wood, because there's nothing to screw it to from beam to beam. It's such a big span. You have to rebuild, you have to frame it. And that doesn't always work, because there's nothing to really attach to. Very difficult fix. So think about it, about maybe shying away from those styrofoam floors. So that's it. We're gonna wrap up our findings, and we will, and I truly honestly think that during the PDI, the dealer should have caught that there's no stoppers on the slide cables. Somebody should have caught that. I caught that in a couple of minutes. So somebody should have caught that, because that, and along with the sealant, as we noticed, they just sealed the front 13 months later. That front cap, they didn't do a very good job, because there's big gaps, still big gaps. So water's going into the front cap and most likely the rear. And there are screw holes or staples coming through the rubber, which we saw up back towards the back. So anyway, I will wrap up my findings and we'll see you later.
Okay, so there you go, out in the field, and it's question time now, Gigi.
Alrighty.
Of course, we always have our questions, and if you want to ask Gigi a question right here on Just Ask Gigi, very simple, info@thervadvisor.com, info@thervadvisor.com. Jane writes, I can get a leftover 2019, or do I get a ordered unit, a new 2021? And now the leftover 2019 it's not been used, but it's 2019. So what's the deal?
That's very funny because we just had that subject, which is what happened to the unit I'm working on right now.
Yeah.
He bought a leftover 19, but he bought it in 2020.
Yeah.
A leftover 2019 is basically manufactured 2 years ago. So, but here's the thing. If you're getting a really good deal and it's been maintained and the dealer took care of it, that's a good possibility. This other one that we were just talking about, the dealer didn't take care of it. But, because here's the problem with the ordered units. The contracts are extremely tricky. So if you read the fine print, which is usually on the back page, way down on the bottom, and there's a little itty bitty print that tells you that if there's a price increase with the factory, that you will have to bear the cost increase. So that's a problem with ordered units. The manufacturers and the dealers have the right to change the amenities, change the floor plan, change the color, change the price, change everything. And if you don't close on the sale, you lose your deposit. So it's very scary right now to order a unit. So if you can find something that's in stock, or you can get a dealer to change the language in the contract and cross things off, and you cannot sign an ordered unit with a price increase. You cannot sign a contract on an ordered unit if it's telling you that you've already inspected and you've accepted it in its current condition when it's not even built. So there's a problem with buying ordered units, and we can touch on that next week.
All right. And we have one more question. This one comes from Dick, and Dick asks, side of the road, I'm on the side of the road, and I want to get roadside assistance in the moment. Do I get immediate use of that roadside assistance? In other words, make the call and, hey, I want to sign up for roadside assistance and I need you now. What's the scoop?
I'm hoping he's kidding, but that would be like a patient going in for open heart surgery and buying health insurance at the same time.
Yeah.
So,
so we know the answer is no.
Yeah. I mean, come on. I still suggest you buy it. Might not help you this time, or you may have to pay for the tow, but I can get somebody out there.
Yeah.
But at least you'll be covered for the next time it happens.
Right. And there almost always is a next time.
Yes.
So roadside assistance is important. By the way, folks, if you're interested in all this, all you got to do, go to the site. It's thervadvisor.com, thervadvisor.com. That's the place to go to learn more about any of our new service, any of our current services, and anything that's coming up. Lots going on in 2021 at the RV Advisor, I can tell you that. And like I said at the top, if you have a question for Gigi on Just Ask Gigi, info@thervadvisor.com, and just say, Just Ask Gigi question. That's all you got to put in there, and then ask your question, and we'll do our very best to get the expert to answer that. And that's who that is. The expert is Gigi Stettler. So we do have one more thing to get to, and we'll do that right after this break. This is almost said the RV Advisor podcast. This is Just Ask Gigi.
It's my show, Tom, not yours.
Right, it's your show. Back in a moment.
With the RV Advisor's Roadside Assistance Plan, we've got you covered for just $99 per year. Visit thervadvisor.com today.
Wrapping things up now on Just Ask Gigi. Got the name of the show right that time. She's Gigi Stetler. I'm Tom Alexander. And Gigi, you know, with all the new things going on, I mean, there's new staffers coming on board. There's all kinds of stuff happening. Lots of big plans. You also have someone new to introduce our audience.
Hi, Sabrina.
All right,
So-
Sabrina.
Hey,
Let's
hi,
see.
Sabrina.
Hey, Sabrina. Hey, how are you? Nice to meet you.
I'm doing well, thank you. Nice to meet you.
Yes, very nice to meet you. So you're going to be working hand in hand with the unstoppable.
She's gonna keep me organized because I haven't had an assistant in a while, and I'm a mess. I'm an
Ah,
absolute mess. And
wonderful.
Sabrina, we know each other from the horse world. She used to take care of my four-legged friends, and now
Yes.
she's gonna maybe help me organize.
Terrific. Well, welcome aboard, Sabrina. It's great to meet you, and I'm sure there'll be a lot of we'll have a lot of fun interaction going on here on the show and everything, all the other fun stuff we're doing here at the RV Advisor. Welcome.
Great, thank you so much. Nice to meet you.
Likewise.
Goes, all righty.
There you go. So that was it. That's where, you know, new surprises at every turn right here on the show.
Every day.
Yeah, I'm telling you. All right. Well, for Gigi Stetler and Sabrina and everybody at the RV Advisor, I'm Tom Alexander. Thanks for watching Just Ask Gigi. We'll see you again next week. So long, everybody.
Bye.